Entitled Creatures, episode number 3.
Entitled woman thinks she owns the drive-thru, throws a tantrum, and gets served by karma and the police. I'm at Chick-fil-A the other day. At this location, they have 2 drive-thru lanes, one for regular orders and one for mobile orders, where you skip the line if you use the app and scan a QR code. I always use the mobile lane because it's way faster. Well, not today. Enter. Entitled woman. She cuts me off pulling into the lot. Red flag number 1. But whatever. There's no one else in mobile lane, so it's not a huge deal. I pull in behind her and immediately notice she's not holding a phone to scan a QR code like a normal person. Nope, she's sitting there, waving at the attendants. Newsflash, nobody monitors the mobile lane. So naturally she starts laying on the horn like a lunatic. An employee finally comes over. Before he's even at her car, she starts barking out her order, and not a short one. This woman orders like she's feeding an army. After ordering, she drives off without paying. The guy literally has to chase her down to get her payment. Then she pulls up to the window, where I'm still stuck right behind her, despite having scanned my code and being ready to grab my food in seconds. The employee at the window asks her to pull around to one of the waiting spots. She refuses, saying, "No, it always takes longer if I pull around." The employee explains, very patiently, that pulling around won't delay her order, but it will let them serve the people behind her whose food is ready. She responds, "It's not really fair to prepare their orders before mine when I was here first." The employee tries to explain how food stations work, but she interrupts, saying, "They should all be working on the first person's order. I know you just make minimum wage, but this really shouldn't be that hard to understand." After what feels like forever, the manager appears at the window. He leans out and very politely asks her to pull around, even promising to personally bring her food out as soon as it's ready. To top it off, he offers her a complimentary peppermint shake as an apology for the inconvenience. And what does she do? She knocks the shake out of his hand. It goes flying everywhere. On him, inside the window, total chaos. She even has the nerve to beep her horn at him. Finally, karma starts to take hold. A couple minutes later, 2 police officers walk around the front of the drive-thru road coming towards her. He laughs at the manager, saying, "You really called the police?" The manager calmly responds, "No, ma'am, they were at the counter when I walked by covered in the shake you knocked over. They also heard your shouting and honking. I told them it was fine, but they wanted to check on the situation." At this point, the officers reached her car and told her if she doesn't pull forward and talk to them, they'll arrest her for assault and move the car themselves. She finally pulls around, but doesn't stop. She just speeds out of the parking lot. The police laughed. She has a very easy to remember vanity plate, and they told the manager that they're adding obstruction of justice for failing to comply with a lawful order when they track her down. I know not all posts here have happy endings, so I figured I'd share this one for the holiday season. Edit 1. Some people were confused about her not paying at first. What happened was she finished barking out her order and then just started to drive to the window. At this Chick-fil-A, you pay right with the person who takes your order, not at the window. Hopefully that makes it clearer. Edit 2. Lots of folks are asking about an update. I really wish I had one, but I don't even know what ended up happening myself. I was just another customer. I've tried looking up her vanity plate. Apparently I'm not allowed to share it here, but haven't found anything related to it. If I do hear anything in the local news or get a flag for the vanity plate on Google Alerts, I will definitely update. Thanks everyone. Edit 3. I've read a few comments about how the mobile drive-thru isn't different from the regular one, or how some people don't believe the shake could have gotten all over the manager. I used the word window when I probably should have said door. They have a hybrid window G's door setup here. Anyhow, I was there again today, so I took a couple pictures of how it looks. This shows the mobile versus regular drive-thru, and it should be clear how someone could knock a shake all over the manager from how they hand it out, which is just like how they're doing it in these pictures.
Mother asked when she's moving in with me and my partner in this rich country. This conversation popped up at the wake of my grandmother's funeral. She was holding her plate of food and sat down next to my aunt and me in a couch. Very smug looking, and kept smirking at people as if she's any better than them. Turned out she had it in her head somehow that she'd be moving to another country with me and my partner and our kids, because grandma had passed away, so she'd have no responsibility like that, and she's retired. So she had gone around telling people how she'd be living a ravishing retired lifestyle in a rich Scandinavic country for free, without having to raise any damn finger. She asked me loudly, "So when does my flight leave?" I asked, what the hell did she mean by that? And she said loudly so everyone could hear, "You know, our flight back to your husband's country so I can live luxuriously like you promised me?" I promised her fuck all other than never gonna talk to her again after I flew back. So me being me and my incapability to sugarcoat anything, I blatantly told her that it'd never happen because I'm not stupid enough to bring her dangerous ass around my children. The face crack of the century, let me tell you. My aunt and the rest of the room cackled. She then thought she heard it wrong, so I repeated again, "You're not moving in with me." And you can erase that idea from your brain because you're a dangerous, lazy, greedy person, and I am not about to introduce that type of energy to my children. She then threw tantrums, yelling and shouting about how she's entitled to move in with me and be taken care of by the family. I argued back that unless she would be willing to find a place to stay over there herself, find a job, learn a new language, and actually work again, then she would not survive because I have kids to take care of and I'm not about to be taking my energy and time off them to cater to her lazy ass. She then went silent on me and refused to talk to me for the rest of the evening. Fine by me, fine by everyone else. They just had a good time giggling at how delusional she was. Edit. I did not expect this to blow up. The reason this took place at the most inappropriate time was because I was leaving pretty much the day after. I wasn't staying with her. Hell no, so she had to talk to me right there and then. Was I already angry at her when she did it? Absolutely. The woman's mother just died. My grandmother just died. And she chose to speak happily, mind you, about how she's moving and leaving all of it behind once and for all so she can live luxuriously. Yes, she likes buying brand name stuff. By mooching off people? No, thank you. I cannot abide by that. Why is she dangerous? The woman would choose money over any family at any time if it means she would be able to live a certain lifestyle. Then she would choose money over protecting her family. I am not bringing that near my kids. I did not want to mention this, but she enabled the essays I had to endure as a kid and more. As long as she was getting money, she was okay with what was happening. Edit 2. English isn't my first language. I apologize.
Entitled woman who thought she owned the park. Justice served. So this happened a few months ago, and I still think about it. It was one of those rare moments when the universe actually balances out a situation perfectly. I live near a park where a lot of people from the neighborhood go to relax, walk their dogs, or just hang out. There's also this homeless guy, I'll call him Tim, who's been living near the park for a while. Tim's actually a pretty nice guy. He doesn't bother anyone, always picks up after himself, and even helps clean the park sometimes. He's got a little spot with a bench and some blankets, and that's where he stays. People in the community sometimes bring him food or coffee, and he never asks for anything. Well, one day I was out walking my dog, and I saw this woman, classic Karen vibes, marching over to where Tim was sitting, minding his own business. She had one of those expensive yoga mats under her arm, and a tiny dog on a leash. You could just tell she was looking for a reason to cause trouble. She stops in front of Tim and starts berating him about how he shouldn't be in her park, that he was ruining the view, and how he needed to get a job and stop being lazy. She was loud, rude, and drawing attention, but Tim just sat there, calmly explaining that he wasn't hurting anyone and had every right to be in the park like anyone else. She, of course, wasn't having it. She threatened to call the cops and have him removed for trespassing, even though it's a public park. A small crowd started forming because she was causing such a scene. A couple of us tried to step in, but she wasn't listening to anyone. She eventually pulled out her phone and called the cops, making it sound like Tim was some kind of dangerous vagrant harassing her, which was a total lie. Here's where it gets good. The cops arrive, and this woman puts on her best victim performance, saying how she feels threatened and unsafe with Tim around. Tim stays totally calm and tells the cops exactly what happened, but it's clear the woman expects them to side with her, but the cops don't. Turns out, one of the officers knew Tim. The cop says, "Oh, hey Tim, how's it going?" They talk for a minute, and it's clear this officer knows Tim isn't some dangerous guy, just a homeless man down on his luck who's never caused trouble. The cop then turns to the woman and says, "Ma'am, this is a public park. Tim has every right to be here, just like you do." Her face completely changes. She starts sputtering, saying how it's unacceptable that people like him are allowed in places like this. She keeps pushing, asking if the officer can do something to remove him. The cop's response? "Ma'am, if you keep causing a disturbance, you will be the one removed from the park." Boom. You could hear a pin drop. The crowd was loving it at this point. The woman huffed and puffed, grabbed her dog, and stomped away, clearly embarrassed that her entitled attitude had backfired. After she left, some people in the park came over and gave Tim some food and drinks, just to show support. The cop hung out for a bit, to make sure everything was okay, and chatted with Tim like they were old friends. It was such a satisfying moment, seeing this entitled woman get shut down, and realizing that just because you're loud and obnoxious doesn't mean you're in the right. Tim's still there at the park, and now it seems like people look out for him even more. Justice served.
Thanks a lot for watching. Share your own stories in the comments and check out our other videos. Take care. See you soon.